guys, it's your girl from Philly. Welcome to another episode of Handcrafted Wines, where we make great wine from home the fun and easy way. Before we get started, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. In today's episode, we're going to be making pink grapefruit wine. And our ingredients are 7.5 cups of pink grapefruit juice that I freshly squeezed from 7 pounds of pink grapefruits. I have 3 pounds of sugar. I'm not sure that we'll be using all 3 pounds, but I have this amount just in case we do. And because there's a lot of acid in grapefruit, we won't be using our acid blend today, but we will be using pectic enzyme. Our dynamic duo is still broken up, so we'll be using our yeast nutrient and our yeast energizers in the form of bread yeast that I boiled and cooked on the stove, and I let it cool down. And of course, we have our powdered tannin. Now, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dissolve 2 cups or 2.5 cups of this sugar into some boiling water. Whew. Sugar's making a mess. It's really humid here, so all of my powders and my sugar have been kind of clumping together. All right. See that? So that leaves us with a 1/2 cup of sugar. So we have 2.5 cups already. Let's clear some of this sugar off the table. And I'm going to add to it water that I just boiled. And that's enough to get it dissolved. There's sugar everywhere. Yeah, it's a little thick. I think the forecast said it was like 80% humidity right now. So it's kind of sticky out right now. Okay, we're going to keep stirring this until we dissolve it completely. Now, the very first time I made pink grapefruit wine was I happened on a case, an entire case of pink grapefruits. And I didn't think to juice them. So what I did was peel and wedge all of the grapefruits in the case. And I made it that way. And then once I placed it into the 5-gallon batch, I used an immersion blender to break it down. But juicing it with a juicer was a lot easier. We're almost there. Okay. No crystals, and it's completely dissolved. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour all of this juice into the fermenter. I have to be careful because it's extremely full. So I think I'm going to tip the fermenter first to start the pour. There we go. All right. And to this, believe it or not, that actually cooled it down quite a bit. There's maybe one warm spot in this section right here, but that's it. Now I'm going to add some room temperature water. And since we're not adding any other ingredients other than our supplements or additives, I'm going to raise it kind of high, but not so high that if I need that last 1/2 cup of sugar that I don't have room for it. Okay, we can get a good hydrometer reading at that height. Now I'm going to check and see what our specific gravity is. This might be the fastest batch I've made yet. Now that first batch that I made was so good. It really was a delicious wine. And I was a little nervous because I hadn't worked with citric acids at that time, or citric fruits at that time. So I wasn't sure exactly how it would turn out. And like the very first batch, I didn't add anything. I didn't add raisins. I didn't add the zest of the grapefruit, because if you bite down on the zest of the grapefruit, even the part without the pith, it's really, really bitter. So I couldn't see where that would actually bring any benefit to my wine. Just a little bit over. And I'm hoping this one is just as successful as that batch was. So it's midway in the red section. And you know, anything that's in the red section and the blue section is definitely wine. Oh, I've never said this before, but anything that's in the white section is alcohol. And we don't make spirits. So I think I'm going to add the last of the sugar just to get it to where I'd like it to be. So I'd like this to ferment to at least 13%, but 14% would be fantastic. I'm going to use a long spoon. We didn't have to use our small spoon at all today. And I'm going to shift down this sugar that seemed to stick into our cup. And these were completely dry when I started, so it's really just because the room is humid. Okay, that's the last of our sugar. Now I have to be really careful because this juice is kind of opaque. So I really can't see whether or not there's sugar granules in it. I have to feel it to make sure that I'm completely dissolving it. And you know I love color. This is such a beautiful color. Now the last batch I made, I think I made it in March of that year, and we were drinking it by July. And it didn't last long, trust me. So I'm going to add back our test amount, and then I'm going to raise the water level just a little bit. Actually, I won't raise the water. I'm going to take another hydrometer reading exactly where it is. So I have about an inch away from the neck of the fermenter. I'm okay with that. Let me tell you, my wine room smells amazing right now because yesterday I made rose petal wine, and it smells like roses all in here right now. It smells amazing. Okay, so we're going to try for our next reading. Hopefully this one is the winner. And then we can add our additives. We're going to have some fun wines this summer, I tell you. We're almost there. Now, I love grapefruit, but I will say this. If you're a person that takes blood pressure medicine, before you would drink a grapefruit wine, check with your doctor just to make sure you can, because it's one of those ingredients that don't go well with that type of medication. Okay, so we're at the very top of the blue line, and I like that. So let's do our reading. So we're at 1.10 exactly. And I have to get to the percentage. I think I swung right past the percentages. There we go. This says 13%, but I just want to verify that. So of course I'm going to use my handy dandy calculator from Brewer's Friend. This actually says, I know you can't see it on the screen, but this says it's going to be 14.4%. So we'll see. That would be nice if it did go that high. All right, so now we're going to add our pectic enzyme. Pectic enzyme is just to break down any of the pulp solids that will eventually rack out of here. And then make sure that this doesn't get hazy. And that was one of the things about the first batch. It took about an additional month to get it to clear. Now we're adding our, look at that. Now we're using our small spoon. It's so humid in here. We're adding our yeast nutrient. I'm gonna get the band back together soon, guys, I promise. And I do have to stir our yeast energizer supplement or substitute, just because it's been sitting here and I see that there was more water at the top than at the bottom. And again, this is just Red Star bread yeast that I took an entire pack and I boiled it, and I've used that one pack and I have enough to make a third batch with it. So I've used it for 2 batches and I have enough left to make a third batch. And for some reason, these yeast are kind of cannibalistic and they enjoy eating dead yeast. I'm going to add some hot water to my tannin. This I do have to stir. I wonder if it being so humid in the room will make it easier for this to dissolve. We'll see. Okay. I think it's all dissolved. I had just a little bit trace amount that wasn't totally dissolved, but nothing to really worry about. So let's stir everything up. And if you see, because this has so much pulp in it, I didn't strain the pulp off, but because it has so much pulp in it, the additives just settled at the very top. So let's blend it in. And what will happen when we go to rack the wine, the pulp will fall down to the bottom and we're only going to be racking off what's left, that's actual wine. I'm seeing something that's a little bit clumpy in here. Let's see if it floats to the top again. Yep, it did. And it looks like it's the pectic enzyme. Yeah, that didn't dissolve all the way. All right, so we have that nice and dissolved. A pink grapefruit wine would go along with barbecue, any summer foods, any type of meat, especially rich meats, anything that's rich and fatty. Because it's grapefruit, it actually cuts through the richness and it complements it very well. Okay, that is everything. I have a little bubble of tannin that's in there. Let's see if I can get it. Move it to the edge and dissolve it. Yep, I got it. These citrus wines, they really surprise me at how well they do. I would think because there's so much acid in a citrus wine that you would have trouble with fermentation, or that the acid levels would be too high, but it actually works out pretty good. We'll be able to see that when I make some lemonade wine as well. Okay, we're going to add I'm going to take this center piece out of our lid. I used those in the beginning, but I won't use them any longer. That centerpiece comes inside of the lid automatically, but I don't really see a purpose for it. The lid adheres very well without it. Okay. All right, so we're going to add our lid on. And I think we have plenty of room, so we won't have to worry about a blowout, but there is a potential of all of this pulp rising up close to the neck. So I'd rather be careful. Better be safe and not sorry. Okay, the next thing is we're going to add our airlock. And I'm going to add inside just enough to go to the fill line. This is a fresh batch of Star San, so it's a little foamy, but it has been dissolved or diluted properly. I always follow the directions from my Star San. Okay, these bubbles are not soap, so they will not affect the batch if they were to go in. It's just an acid-based sanitizer. All right, I have plenty of space in here too. I might rise it up a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to add the cap on, and that's it. We finished this pretty quickly. So this is our Pink Grapefruit Wine, which is basically just pink grapefruit juice, sugar, water, and our additives. There's nothing else in here. I'll be checking this, stirring it daily, especially to kind of take care of this cap of pulp. The pulp cap is about that big. So that's going to eventually fall down to the bottom. But just to make sure that the yeast is breaking through that pulp cap, I'll be stirring it every day for the next 7 days. In 15 days, if it's ready, I'll rack it. This may need a little bit more time. In 3 months, we'll be tasting it. In 6 months, it should be good. It'd be good to go. In 12 months, it would be fantastic. However, with citrus wines, they actually are better as young wines. So they actually taste better when you drink them in an early period. 6 months should be okay for this wine. All right, so that's it for today. I want to thank you for joining me again at Handcrafted Wines. Again, please like, share, subscribe, click your notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. Tell your friends, buy your equipment, make your own wine. Oh, and before I finish, I want to thank everyone for becoming subscribers. I am up to 500 subscribers now. Yay! I'm so excited. And I just want to continue to grow with this channel. I'm having so much fun with you guys. So thanks again. Have a wonderful day, and bye-bye.